What's up, YouTube? My name's Joel from Easy Engineering, and welcome back to another video. Thanks so much for your requests. I've been having a lot of fun developing and designing these sounds, and I'm kind of leaning more towards, you know, being strict and keeping things completely Ableton, except for obviously your effects and everything like that. But I want to try and focus in on all the amazing, you know, plugins that Ableton has, such as operator or analog, to design your sounds. I mean, obviously there's a few features like in Serum with the LFO shaper that you can't get, but you can kind of work your way around it with your Max for Live tools and everything like that. But yeah, I feel like this is kind of the direction the channel is going in, and I'm enjoying it. I think Ableton tools are incredibly useful if you know how to use them. Yeah, I guess that's kind of my goal here, really. Anyway, someone asked me to do a tutorial on forest side leads. I've done one other video already, but this one is a bit more focused on the Ajja lead, the kind of very organic type FM lead that you get, that you hear a lot, and this is what I'm talking about. And this sound is what for any kind of FM, I suppose. It all comes down to the waveform you're using and the carrier and everything like that, because obviously frequency modulation is taking one oscillator or waveform and kind of combining the two. So you're taking one and another oscillator. I mean, you can have up to 4 with operator, but essentially you're combining these two frequencies together at a certain level or a certain amount to create an FM type sound. So over here, as you can see, I've actually gone in and done my own sine waves or waveforms, whatever you want to call them, you know, just to kind of get its unique characteristic that you can't really get if you use just a normal sine and a square, or sine and a saw, or whatever, or 2 sines. It's really cool. It's really great. I mean, I think you should definitely look into this with regards to operator. I guess it's frequency kind of creator, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, this is pretty much what I did to design the basics of my sound. So let's try and do this again. And okay. Oh, by the way, I also dropped this down -24 semitones, so I transposed it down 2 octaves just so I can get a bit more range of the low end. It makes sense when you do it. If I have it at 0, it just does, it's too high, the sound, so it doesn't sound good. Anyway, what can we do? Let's do that. Luckily you got like a nice little image over here that you can see what you're doing to the waveform, so you can kind of get a better feel or idea of what the sound is going to sound like. And also do odds, evens, which is really cool. So if you have it at even, it will only do all the evens. If I have it at odd, it'll obviously do all the odd. Really helps. There you go. Level up. Alright, cool. That's pretty much it for the fundamentals of the sound. Then you can kind of, I mean, you can go in, add an LFO if you want to. But what we're going to do is we're going to use shaper for something else, but we will add an LFO because what we're doing is we're actually modulating this. Think of this as your FM control. So that's at max, and that's obviously at the opposite of max. And what we're doing is we're kind of just modulating this to kind of get our characteristic of the sound, you know, just it's some movement. And obviously what we're going in and do is we add an arpeggiator, and I think I had it at 8ths. And then what I've gone and done is I've added a shaper. So just to save time, I'm going to bring over my 2 shapers, because I've got this one modulating my gate over here, and I have this one modulating my rate over here. So essentially I'm just kind of creating some nice variation on the gate, just to kind of get that, you know, rhythm going. Next, add in a filter of your choosing. I mean, you don't even have to add in a filter, and you can just kind of go in and start adding your effects and whatnot. And then just kind of keep adding or taking away effects, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't. So you can see over here, I have my phaser after the delay. Usually I have my phaser before the delay because I want the sound to have some phasing before it hits the delay. But with this sound, it just sounded better to have the phaser acting after the delay. This is what I'm saying. There's there's no rules, there's no hard and fast rules. If it sounds good, keep it. If it doesn't, next what I went and did is I added in a deep blue glitch. I've obviously got my EQ and my compressor going down just to obviously do some mixing, and I think I added a little bit of compression at the end just because I've got some saturation, I've got a deep blue glitch, I've got a delay, I've got some phaser, and all of these are kind of building on top of these, you're adding to the dynamics and everything like that, even though your dynamics are being controlled over here within the first compressor. In some instances it's always good to add a second compressor, but you don't want to see over here I've got quite harsh settings. I mean, this one might be a little bit too harsh, to be fair, but yeah, you'd have it at like maybe 1.75 or 2.5 or something like that, but you have it at a very low threshold, as you can see over here, whereas this one is at 16, this one's at -4, and this is just to kind of catch the peaks, whereas this one is set to RMS just to kind of capture the average dynamic range of the sound. So it's just kind of emphasizing the control of over your dynamics in a positive way, not squashing them completely and suffocating them. You're still kind of trying to create that nice little range, but a controlled range. I mean, you can keep just going in and messing about even more. I can add in another LFO over here, see if that works. Okay, that's a bit too much. That doesn't work, but we can try and see what, we can add it to the rate. I think adding the bandpass filter really gives it that organic growly Ajja type sound that we're looking for. You're getting the idea over here. You're taking operator, you're taking two sines or, you know, kind of user-based sine waves or whatever you've created, and you're blending them together, trying to find a nice, good fundamental sound to use, adding an arpeggiator, adding a filter if it works. If it doesn't, and that's pretty much it. I mean, you got your delay, and then obviously bounce it down into audio. I think with a bit more refinement, you know, I would start the sound again and mess about maybe with creating a better waveform that works well with this one. You know, maybe I would change the filter over here. But the key steps, and I'm going to list them, like I've just said, create or choose the right waveforms that complement each other. With regards to this sound, you want to send it through an arpeggiator, and you want to be specific or non-specific with the rate. I mean, you can go in, turn it to free, take an LFO and just mess about with it, and then try and find some sweet spots, you know, a nice range for the rate to kind of flow between, or flow between. Like I said, a filter if you want it, if it works. If it doesn't, take it out. I've got a little bit of saturation going off here. I was just like overdrive rather. I've used some spread. Be wary of your transpose. So with this kind of sound, you want it down -12 or -24, and then you can kind of work your way up and see what works. Use your LFO tool. Use a shaper to kind of shape the way your gate works, as well as your rate if you're choosing to do that. Do your mixing first. So obviously compressor, EQ. I've got my satin afterwards, and then I've got my glitch effect going over here. Then I've got my delay. You can have your D-Blue glitch or whatever you're using after your delay, and then I've got a phaser. Again, you can kind of be picky with how you order these ones, but with regards to your compressor and EQ, always do compression before you EQ. And then if the sound needs, put a compressor at the end of it, and then bounce it down to audio, take it further. But the main goal of this one is to just kind of, I think with the Ajja style leads, it's very much trying to keep them as organic as possible. So the less harmonics that you use to work with, I guess the better your overall sound will be, or more in line with how Ajja makes his leads, your sound will be. And I think that's a key takeaway from this lesson today. So I'm going to leave it there. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, comment down below if you want to see more of these videos. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. I'm always willing to help and listen. And if you like this channel, subscribe, hit that little bell button on the side to get a notification when I release another video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys in another one.